Thanks so much for stopping by the channel. My name's Leah, and we're going to recap and review Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is season 12, episode 1. Let's get into it because we got a lot to talk about. Y'all know before we get into the episode, sometimes I come to you before the episode recap to give you some drama, some salaciousness that come down the timeline. So this one was referring to Teddy. We all know, and we'll talk about it in the review, about Dorit's storyline will be how she deals with said robbery that happened to her. So y'all know, or if you don't know, Teddy's husband Edwin has a security service business, but word on the curve is it ain't the best, allegedly. R.I.P. to Pop Smoke. They took him too soon, y'all. And if you don't know who Pop Smoke is, he was a rapper that unfortunately was killed, and he was staying at a property, or the property was some way connected to Teddy in the sense of they were doing security for the property, and unfortunately intruders infiltrated the home and they killed him. So people are always going to have something to say about Edwin's security business because of that, because the man lost his life. But this is what Teddy had to say because a lot of people were asking. So it starts off with a tweet that someone sent to her, and the person basically said, hashtag RHOBH at Teddy Mellencamp. It was my understanding that it was not Edwin's company that installed Dorit's security system. Can you confirm? And Teddy co-tweeted and she said it was not. And then she took to Twitter to proceed to explain, to be clear, Edwin did not do Dorit's alarm or security system, so Twitter can take a breather. Hashtag watch what happens live. Hashtag, RHOBH. I mean, she gonna have to clear it up because we all kind of assume that's who was doing it, because it, you know what, we'll talk about it more because I got things to say about that, but it does not seem like the security systems in California are that efficient. All these celebrities getting robbed. Heck, Beyonce got robbed. Beyonce. But let's get into this review. So before we get into this review, I'm gonna preference this. I don't hate nobody on this show. And there's nobody I viscerally can't stand. There are people that I find like are my faves. Like, well, when I say faves, I mean like favorites on the cast, but not like, oh, my fave. Like, I ain't got no burner account or a stand account for them, But like, I don't hate anyone. So I feel like, don't get in them comments and be yelling at me when I come at the person you like. Just don't do that. We can have dialogue, but don't do that. Okay, so let's get into this episode. So it starts off with them opening up with Dorit's, like the security cam footage of the people breaking into her home, and then it flashes back to like 3 days before it actually happens. We see everybody. We find out. We see Kyle. We see Lisa. We see all the ladies. So then the episode, like, it's just like a brief like zoom through to see, like, to get everybody jazzed up about the season. So then we see Kyle with Portia. They're doing like boxing or whatever. And Kyle says Portia's doing better. I think that's great. Like, you can definitely tell Portia was going through like the blues of like, the panorama blues. Like, I was there when it all happened. I mean, we still going through it, but when it first started, it was a scary feeling. And also it kind of felt like, what's the point of doing all of this if everybody is just like in chaos, So I'm happy that like she's doing better. She had her bat mitzvah. She looked so cute in the little pink dress, and it looked like she had a wonderful time. So it's great to see that like she's doing better. Then we cut over to Garcelle and Sutton, and they're in Miami together. You can really tell that they have become like friends, which I think is nice, because oftentimes when we watch the Real Housewives, we don't think these women are friends. We think they're friends, but it's to like a certain extent. Like, when the show is off, they probably don't be kicking it with each other. But you can tell that most of the women on this cast do have outside relationships with each other. So I think that helps with the flow of the story of the show. Like, you can tell that this is like somewhat a friend group. But they're in Miami. They're there for a charity called Angels of Humanity, and it's mainly dedicated to Haiti. And the crazy thing is like, I remember it so vividly about the earthquake in Haiti because it happened on my birthday. And oftentimes, like, you would think that everything is better now because it happened a while ago. But the truth of the matter is, like, the government there is corrupt. So a lot of the money that was being funded to the people to help, a lot of those people didn't get. And other what's it called, organizations, I won't bash one, but the one with the cross in it, a lot of people in Haiti will tell you not to give money to that organization because a lot of the money that was given to them never reached the people. So that's why you see all these grassroots foundations popping up, or like charities popping up, because they're supposed to go directly to the people, like we saw on Real Housewives of Miami in this one right here. So Sutton is down there to support her. We find out that Sutton is single, Garcelle is single, and they just ready to mingle. And I like them together. Then we really get into, like, you know, the episode going forward. So this little sit down with Lisa Rinna and Erica was the foreshadowing or the build up of the beef between Erica and Sutton and Lisa. So we found out Amelia's moving to New York. Good for her. I hope she's not dating Scott. One thing that is so that, like, it was cringy that Lisa was okay with her and Scott dating, mainly because they said Amelia's 20. Scott is like 37, almost 40 years old. There's nothing they have in common other than sex. It's gross. It is gross. I would know, like, that stuff, like, I don't mind age gaps, but like when they make sense. It's different when someone's like in their 30s dating somebody in their 40s. Like, y'all could still be on the same page, or somebody that's like what's it called? Like if someone's like 25 dating someone like 35, that's not a huge, or even if someone's like 28 dating someone that's 40, like they're adults. That is gross. Anything in the teens, anybody who's 40 and dating somebody that's like 20 and below, it's gross. That person can't even drink with you. What are you doing? And Lisa was so cool with that because it was attached to the Kardashians, and I was like, he not even a good one. Like, why didn't you just push Amelia to be friends with him? We're not talking about that. Rinna Beauty is doing well, so good for Lisa Rinna. We also find out that Erica is dating, and she has like a secret admirer, but she's not, I guess she doesn't really want to settle down. She's just having really good sex, so good for her, you know. Get what you gotta get. You've been married to that crypt keeper. You might as well get you some good stuff. And then they start talking about, you know, the whole thing with Sutton. So I got tea on that, y'all. But we gonna talk about that probably next episode when we really get into the drama between Sutton and Lisa Rinna. But so Lisa Sutton decided to like stick up for Garcelle, especially about the whole situation where Lisa Rinna and that stupid thing about Garcelle not thanking Harry for making like the sauce for her birthday, which was totally stupid and childish. So Sutton was on Watch What Happens Live, and she brought up this story about Elton John's gala. It's a gala that I think is for like for AIDS work or HIV, like, you know, putting out good positive information about helping people that deal with AIDS and HIV. And each table is worth like $10,000. And Sutton on Watch What Happens Live basically said that she bought a table for Lisa Rinna and Harry to sit at. And basically they were like, and Sutton said basically Lisa never thanked her. And Sutton was like, and Lisa feels like Sutton is lying. Like Lisa, but then y'all, when I tell you, people be digging. So I guess I can share a little bit of tea and then we gonna get into it. But basically, someone found Elton John's like public records about the foundation, and they checked and they found like tax information, because you know most of the times people write off charity work as like tax stuff. They couldn't find anything about Lisa Rinna and Harry like purchasing a table, but they found things about Sutton actually purchasing a table, because I guess they also have to put that, especially because it's donation, so they have to put that forward in legal documents. So A lot of people feel like Lisa lying, and Lisa feels like Sutton's lying, and there's like she went on a whole tirade. Well, I don't even say tirade. She went on a rant about it, about how she didn't lie about it, and she was big mad at that table. She was like, this bitch don't know who she coming for, and I was like, Lisa, like, and then the part that killed me is when Lisa was like, she was upset that Sutton would say these things about her because she's a good friend. I said, to whom, Lisa? To whom? You ruined a 20-year friendship, Lisa Rinna. For TV purposes. Who are you friends with, Lisa? Now, don't get me wrong. I think the only person that Lisa is like loyal to or has like a legitimate friendship with is Erica. I don't think she really cares that much for anybody else on the cast except for Erica, because throughout this whole situation with Erica, Lisa has been like loyal, like aggressively loyal to that lady. So I do think she's friends with Lisa, but for Lisa Rinna to be like, I would never do her like that, I thought we were friends. I was like, Lisa Rinna, Lisa Rinna, you ain't friends to nobody except Erica. And like I told y'all, I don't hate anybody. I think Lisa is good for the show because she keep the drama going, and she's the villain. Like her tagline was, "Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I'm a bitch." But Lisa, stop acting like you were friends with that lady. That didn't make no sense to me, because she was upset. She was like, I'm a good friend. She's like, I would never do Sutton that way. What y'all were dragging Sutton her first season she was on here as a friend of the show, and then y'all dragged her the second season when she was having beef with Crystal. So who are you really a friend to, Lisa? I was just outdone that she was big mad. I was like, well, somebody is big mad right now. So next we actually see Sutton and Crystal meeting up, which I never thought they would be something. But it was cute. Like, they decided to like hang out over the summer and actually start to build a friendship. And they're starting to let their walls down with each other. We found out that Crystal is redoing her basement. It's costing her $500,000. They ended up bonding over baseball. I find baseball so boring, y'all. Like, it's boring to watch. Like, when you're playing, it's fun. But when you're watching, it's not fun. I did, like, when I was going to school, like, in another state, we actually used to go to the local baseball games, and they had this one thing where you could go sit on the lawn, like it was like out the day of the week when they were playing, you could sit on the lawn and watch the game that way. And that was cool, like that, because that was something I've never done, because normally you got to sit in the stands. But I just was like, baseball is not fun, you guys. It's just not if you're watching it. It's not tea. It's not fun. But it was cool that they're having fun. Crystal did say something that was very true, where she was like, Sutton says things in a cheeky way, but she's actually throwing a dig. And my thing is, like, that's Southern people in general. Like, no matter if they're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, if you grow up in the South, that is us. Like, we put sugar on shit. Like, that is what we do. That is really what we do. Like, if you watch Southern Charm, because I used to watch it when in the old seasons, they would take digs at each other, but they would do it in a like sweet kind of like, oh, cutesy way. And like, sometimes people who were from the North that would come down there wouldn't catch it off rip. Like, they would catch it maybe like a few days ago, or like when the conversation was over. And that's really how Southern people are. And like I said, no matter what race you are, that is how we act down here. For real. Like, people, like, the tone and inflections in people's voice will tell you what they mean. Like, saying like, "aw, sweetheart" to somebody can mean two things based off of the way you say it. And then that's all they're saying is, "oh, sweetheart." But one minute it can be like, "oh, sweetheart." Like, you really feel bad for them. Like, "oh, sweetheart." Like, you stupid. Like, you're really stupid. That's just how it is down here. So like what Crystal's saying is true, but I like Sutton, so I'm okay with it. And I know Southern women like her, and I just like, y'all just don't be picking up on it. That's y'all fault. So then they ask her about, Sutton talks about dating, and Crystal was like, are you open to people setting you up? And Sutton's like, yeah, but he has to be handsome, educated, tall, and like cats. Sutton is definitely a cat person. Definitely a cat person. Like, even with that dog that they had last year, she didn't seem to like it as much, but she loved them cats. So then we have Erica and Garcelle meeting up. So Erica and Garcelle are, I guess, trying to form a relationship or work on being friends. And Garcelle has some hesitations based off of the way things went last season. And one thing I will say, I saw a lot of people online saying Garcelle's a confessional gangster, mainly because of this part right here where her and Erica end up working out. We find out, and I guess it's to allude to what Erica's storyline is going to be, because we heard a lot of in the super trailer about her drinking, is that she's been drinking a lot. That she was like, in her dark days, she would drink a lot, and then when she would wake up, there would be like Taco Bell wrappers, and she didn't remember purchasing them. And she was like, that's when I knew I had a problem, which is very true. Like, I'm happy that she like caught on to that. If in case if she really is taking it serious, because like, you drinking to the point where you don't remember purchasing food, that's scary. Like, you could hurt yourself and when you black out like that. I was kind of upset that we didn't get to see Garcelle talking to her family. They did a flashback of her, and because Erica asked like, oh, well, how you doing? And she was like, oh, I was in Miami. And she was like, I got to see my family. And we find out that she didn't grow up with her sisters. So it seems like Garcelle is like the youngest, or maybe like the youngest, or maybe the second youngest. But like, her sisters were talking about how they felt like her mom loved her more, and it was just something cute. And I was just like, why didn't y'all show us that? Like, they just gave us flashbacks of her at the charity event, and then they gave flashbacks of her with her family. I'd be interested in seeing her with her family, other than seeing Kyle with Kathy and Kim, because y'all don't be giving us Kim. I want more Kim. I don't want Kathy. I don't want Kyle. I want Kim. Kim's the star. Just want to put that out there. So then, after they work out, Garcelle and Erica are sitting down. And then we get the meme. We got a meme of the century, y'all, from Erica's face. Because that face was so scary. But let me talk about it first. So Erica and Garcelle are sitting down after they've finished working out. And Garcelle goes straight to Erica, I think you should apologize to Sutton. Erica's like, for what? For what? And I mean, I can't hate that she was honest. And so Erica's like, so Garcelle's like, you threatened her. Like, the girl was scared of you. Like, I forgot that she hired security for like she mentioned on the reunion that she hired security for a week because of what Erica said. And Erica was on the stage laughing like I was like, Erica, you did threaten her. She was like, you keep coming for me, I'm gonna come for you. And y'all already know Sutton is like anxiety ridden. So I'm just kind of like, of course she was going to take it that way. And Erica was like, well, Sutton, like Erica said, I was backed into a corner. You are not backed into a corner. Sutton was the only person asking you like legitimate questions, in the same vein as what Margaret was doing to Teresa, asking Teresa's questions. But I will say, I will give credit more to more to Teresa. No, not Teresa. Oh my God. More to Sutton, in the sense that Sutton, it was the New York Times. It was seeing it like creditable. Was not saying the ladies speaking out about the whole situation with Louis aren't credible, but I'm saying this was fact checked. Like, so she had a right to ask you them questions. Your friends was lame and scared of you and wouldn't ask questions. And I was glad that Garcelle said, well, all of them were, everybody was asking questions. And Erica's like, well, she was leading the charge. I was like, not really. She just was the only person who decided to stand 10 toes down in it and wasn't afraid and didn't back off of you. So Erica made mention, she was like, Sutton likes to take a lot of swings at everybody, but she got to get ready for people to swing back. I honestly don't think last year Sutton was swinging. Last year Sutton was just asking questions because what you were telling them in the now, when they were having actual conversations with you, Erica, you had too many holes in your story, sis. Like, people just want to know what's up because they're also getting asked questions as well as to what's going on with you. So Erica, this is where I talk about the meme. Erica then starts to talk about the $20 million claim. This part, I was like, Erica, you're lying. You're lying, sis. I'm sorry. Even though I'm happy Erica is stepping into her villain role, you're lying. Like, you're delusional, sis. Like, you're lying. Because Erica starts to say that she never touched the money and that her trustees figured it out. Well, y'all know how people are. Y'all know how people found, like, information. It was like a People magazine, and I'll just post a picture of what it looks like. But the magazine basically said that, this is what it said. It said the bankrupt trustee said the debtors has admitted in numerous filed tax documents that Erica's related companies have received $20 million, according to tax documents spanning multiple years, the trustee alleges. So it's like, Erica, a lot of these things could be easily fact checked. So then a lot of people feel like Garcelle is a confessional gangster, because in her confessional, Garcelle is like, well, Erica, I haven't heard anything. Like, she was like, I haven't heard anything, like no news reports, no articles, nothing about all of that stuff being lies. So what's going on? But then Erica, I do like that Erica made mention where she was like, all of these are civil suits. So it's like, Erica's not going to jail. And I think that's what Erica was getting mad at, is that people felt like she was going to get locked up, especially the fans. But Erica's not going to jail. This is civil suits, meaning that people want compensation. So they're trying to get money where they can. So she also made mention, which I kind of didn't like, because she was being really nasty to the lady in the one of the producers. But I also got what she meant, where she was like, Bravo can do their due diligence, which they can, because they fact check everybody else. They do it to Teresa. They did it to Drew. They've done it to everybody else on the show, even when it came to the whole Jen Shaw thing. So it's like, they could do their due diligence, but I just didn't like how Erica, I was like, girl, okay, I get it. You feeling your bitchiness. Like, still be nice to the people that pay you, because you need this job. You need this job, girl. But Garcelle says she wanted to move forward. She says she's not going to ask anything about Tom or anything. And she just is like, I just want us to be on good terms. I don't think she's a confessional gangster, but I also don't think Garcelle could be more vocal, but I also feel like this is the game of the show. Like, this is the name of the game, I would say. Like, people have these conversations, but then in their confessionals, when they have time to think about it, they have funny quips, or they be like, that doesn't make sense. So I don't think she's really a confessional gangster, because even last season, she was probing, prodding, and holding people to task. So I don't see it that way. But if you see it that way, you see it that way. But not me. So we're going to talk about Dorit. I'm going to give y'all the facts first, and then I'm going to give y'all my opinion, which y'all might already know, but I'm gonna give y'all my opinion. So we get to Dorit, as she's at her house. We see her kids, doing karate. It's crazy to see how much they've grown on television. Like, I think, I forgot his name. The oldest, the little boy, I think he's like 7 or 8, and the little girl's like 5 or 6. But it's great to see that the kids have grown up. We find out that they were in London, and both the 2 kids were in a wedding, and PK stayed in London. Yeah, PK stayed in London. So she's at home with the kids and things like that. So Garcelle calls, they have a cute little FaceTime, and their relationship is doing better. So then we get to later that night. We're going to talk about the facts first. So it's later that night. They have 11 cameras, because they showed us the footage, and it's jumping back and forth from like camera 11, camera 7, like camera 5 and stuff like that. They broke in through the slide window. They had like a glass slide window, and they broke into it that way. They walk in. Luckily, the kids didn't know the people were in their home, and Dorit is in bed. She thought the person coming in was her kid, but it was actually one of the intruders. They ushered her to the ground. They put a gun to her head, and they threaten to kill her if she doesn't give them the money or show them where bags are and stuff like that. And then we see a video of them like dragging like a comforter full of stuff and throwing it over the throwing it over like the gate to their home and running away. So the next thing we see is like the office in the New York, no, I said the office, my bad. We see the news, the local news there, and they're talking about it. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. We find out that everybody in Fox 5 was there. So Lisa Rinna, Teddy even showed up. Kyle was there, and so was Erica, to all check on her. And that was like around 8 o'clock to 8:30 in the morning to make sure she was okay. So then we see a scene where you have Lisa and Crystal in the car. And like Lisa is explaining to Crystal what happened because Lisa was with Sutton in the morning. And basically Lisa's like, you know, she thought she was going to get killed and her kids were going to get killed. Like she said, the kids don't know anything because they weren't disturbed by the intruders. Both of them start crying in the car, and then we go to like a birthday party, like not a restaurant or like it looked like a hotel where they're gonna be planning Harry's 70th birthday. And Lisa was like so shocked. Like Lisa was like, you know, he's 70. Okay, girl, he look okay. Like let it go. Like he look good. Like let it go. Like she was harping on that, and I was like, okay, Lisa, we get it. You worship the ground Harry Hamlin walks. So here's my thoughts about this. Or should I wait? I should wait. I'll wait when we get to where Doree was at Kyle's house and they were talking about it. So as we continue, we see this horrible scene with Sutton and Kyle. I'm a preferences. I like Sutton, but I know Sutton was insensitive. Though with this whole situation. Was wrong, but it was funny. It was so funny because I don't think she was putting on. So it's the day of the actual robbery. We find out that like Kyle was at the house. Kyle was being hella dramatic. I don't care what nobody says. Even if my friend ever got robbed, yes, I'd be confused. I'd be concerned. I would be caring. I would be hurting for them. But throughout this whole episode, Kyle got on my nerves because she was being dramatic. Because she's sitting out the window, just looking out the window, just crying. And I was just like, ma'am. If anything, like, I don't know. To me, if she was really like, I guess and maybe I'm being too critical, whatever. I'm allowed to do that if I'm reviewing. I just feel like if you were really that distraught about your friend being in distress, you would have stayed at the house with her. You wouldn't have filmed this scene with Sutton. You would have stayed with her and cried with her and consoled her and made sure she was like, she was all right. But for you to be at your house doing this dramatic scene and looking back at the camera so they could see them tears dropping down your face, I was like, Kyle, cut it out. So Sutton pops up. She got molasses and chocolate chip cookies. And you could tell she was like frantic. So I don't even know if Sutton was really like registering what was going on. But she was just saying, I've been putting out a lot of fires. You know, she has a designer in immigration, like hold up in immigrations that she's trying to get help with. I guess the man's like from Italy or France. Then Kyle was like, I thought you were, because the way Sutton did it, it was like, you thought Sutton was going to be like empathetic or sympathetic to the situation that's happening to Doree. And I can give Kyle a little grace because Kyle's home has been broken into like 3 or 4 times throughout the seasons. But Doree was like, but Sutton was like, no, I've been putting fires out like every day. You know, it's all relative, you know, like I wasn't held at gunpoint. And I said, Sutton, it was insensitive, and that's why she apologized. So like, if you didn't know, Sutton did a People's Article magazine where she said, you know what, I was wrong, because she knew she was wrong. But I don't think Sutton was there, because Sutton even was like, she seemed frantic, and she even was sitting there where she was like, you know, I gotta go get me some therapy. I got too much anxiety. So, and she was like, it's just been a weird day. It seems like something out of a movie, you know, what happened to her. And I said, I was weak. I'm not even gonna lie. I laughed like 3 times. But then Kyle being so like holier than thou, and like, y'all know you can never get away with anything on these shows when you've been on since season 1, especially for Kyle, because everybody started to roll back the way Kyle acted as it pertains to Lisa Vanderpump when she lost her brother and her mom within like a month or so, and how Kyle was like, oh, we're all going through things. And it was like, that was the same energy that Sutton had. And then Kyle tried to like respond on because they did a Watch What Happens live after this episode, and Kyle was like, 2 wrongs don't make a right, and I apologize, which she really didn't apologize. But I'm like, y'all can't be that butthurt about what Sutton did, because yes, it was insensitive, but it was funny, and majority of people found what Sutton did was funny. With Kyle, people just thought Kyle was being a dick, but it still was insensitive, but I still got a good laugh out of it. Then they ushered their way into the kitchen, and Sutton is talking about dating, and Kyle brings up Erica, and Sutton don't see it for Erica as of right now. Sutton, like, it was weird that Kyle wanted Sutton to feel bad for Erica, especially after that dinner situation where Erica threatened Sutton looking like an angry chihuahua, where she was like, or what? Or what? Or what? And Sutton's like, nothing. That's what I thought. I thought. So shut the up. I was like, and so Kyle wants Sutton to feel bad, because Kyle's like, I know after that she went home crying on the bed. And I had Sutton energy. So what? She still was nasty to me. So you think I'm supposed to feel bad for her? Girl, bye. Girl, bye. So Sutton, and I love the way when Kyle started talking, Sutton was like, I disagree. And Kyle didn't even finish. And Kyle was like, well, you gonna let me finish? And Sutton was like, oh, I know what you're about to say, but I already disagree. I cackled. Sutton had me cackling throughout this whole episode. And then she also brought up the double standard, how PK and Marcelino, this is not Love After Lockup, Mauricio, were talking trash about, like, was making light of Erica's situation when they had that double date, and how Erica's still cool with you and Mauricio and PK and Dorit, but she mad at me. So she was like, there's a double standard, which there is. She not gonna give that smoke to them. Erica's not. We're at Kyle's, and this is where I'm really gonna give like how I feel about this situation as it pertains to the whole robbery situation. So they're deciding to meet up at Kyle's house, and Erica's the first one to arrive. You could already tell it's still kind of awkward between Erica and Kyle. I really don't think Erica sees it for Kyle anymore. To me, Erica and Lisa Rinna are the only ones that are friends, like legitimate, like friends in the Fox 5 or Fox Force 5 or whatever it's called. I think they are the only ones that are legitimate friends in that group. Kyle is a lot closer to Teddy and Dorit, but like out of the 5 of them, it's Lisa and Erica together, and then Kyle, Dorit. Kyle and Teddy together, and Dorit's like in the middle, like, because she could go either way with the group. But it's an awkward moment. Mauricio shows up, and Erica says, you hurt my feelings, but she does it in a joking way. But he apologizes, and he was like, I didn't mean to, like, it was just a joke. So then Elisa shows up, and Lisa's like visibly, like, she's like, I'm still shook, like this even happened to her. So then Dorit shows up, noticeably like in distress, like she got on the classic, we've never seen Dorit in in like, what's it called, a pullover and hoodie set. We've never seen her in a hoodie set, a gray hoodie set. And she ain't got no makeup on. She's like very like muted. So we end up finding out that she left her kids with PK's assistant and security. And then Kyle asked Dorit to explain what happened to Mauricio, because Mauricio wasn't there with them in the morning. So in this little part, I don't get why after something so traumatic, why would you leave your kids with security and an assistant? I would think the way that she was feeling throughout this whole entire scene, that she would want to like just be with them. And I'm not trying to be critical. Like, I guess I am being critical, but it's just kind of like, that was weird to me. I was just kind of like, girl, you just thought somebody was going to take you out and your children out. Like, I would not want them with nobody else but me. But I also think it's, she kind of has to keep up a facade that everything is okay, because they said their kids don't know what happened because they weren't woken up by what happened. So she starts explaining. She says that when the kids are away, they like to sleep in the bed with her. So Dorit was like, she was extremely like jet lagged from, because I think a flight to London might be like over 10 hours. But she was just extremely jet lagged and just tired. And she just was like, you know, she just wanted to get to bed. So she actually picked up her kids and she placed them in their rooms. Like, I think the little girl tried to like sleep in bed, or like fell asleep in bed with her, and she picked her up and put her in her bed. Next thing you know, like, she washed her face and like she got to bed. So then she's like, she heard the door open, and that was and the intruders were in the home after breaking the glass window. And she says that she thought it was one of her kids, but then she noticed when she woke up, like, she saw a big figure that she was like, oh crap, like, that's not my child. So then the person tells her to like get down on the floor. I'm looking at my notes, y'all. If you see me looking down, the person says get down on the floor, and she starts begging for her life and her kid's life. And the guy's like, I'm gonna effing kill you. Where's the watches? Where's the cash? So in that moment, I believed it, because I was like, wow, like, okay. I will say that a lot of people online were like, it sounded like she was taken from Kim K's situation, where you know, I think Kim K was like, I think Kim was like in London or Paris. They were somewhere. It was either Paris or London. And then, you know, when they stole her the jewelry, and she said the same thing where they told her to get in a bathtub, and then they were gonna like dip out. And like, a lot of people like online felt like Dorit's story sounded similar to that. But I was like, it didn't sound similar to me. But but you know, I don't know, you know, robberies could be the same. So I felt like Kyle was being hella dramatic, because when she started being like, oh no, don't say that, don't say that, I was like, why are you? It felt like she was trying to one up Dorit, as Dorit explained, because Dorit is being visibly like animated, and she's like clasping her hands like, please don't kill, like, you know, she's doing a lot like to show them what happened. And Kyle was just doing a lot. When she was like, when she started like, oh no, don't see that, don't see that, like when she did that, I was like, girl, chill out, let the lady tell her story, like let her tell her story. So she then said, like, she then was like, she tried to stay calm the whole time, because then they like pulled her up. It kept going back. I think they said there was 3 people there. Then they said it was 2 people. But when you watch the video, you only see 2 people breaking into the house. She was like, please don't let my kids see you. Please don't let my kids see you. They had, like, she said there was one person in front of her and then one person behind her. I guess they still had the gun. And they were like leading her around the house. And she was telling them where everything was. And she said, like, you know, she was just like, please don't let my kids see you. Please don't harm my kids or me. So then she says in the confessional, although she was trying to cry, I ain't see no tears until she kept telling the story, but I'll let her have it. But I was glad that Erica was like, girl, you need to go to therapy, because she was like, I don't know how to like continue. And I was happy that Erica was like, you need to go to therapy. Like, she outright was like, you need to go to therapy. And I was glad that Erica was like, girl, go to therapy, because nobody was saying it. But I'm happy Erica was like, yeah, go to therapy, sis. So then Dorit's, like, you could tell, I don't know, I felt like Dorit, like, maybe this really did happen, because when I first heard about this, I really, like, when it first happened, like, in real time, I was like 50, like, maybe 70-30. 70% of me was like, this seems like a scheme set up by Todd to bring us back to Bull. But then 30% of me was like, maybe it is true, because a lot of people's homes gets breaking into, especially celebrities out in California. And as I was watching Dorit, you know, go through what she was going through this first episode, it went to like 60-40. And then by the end of the episode, I was like 50-50. Because in the moment where I was like 60-40 is when like Kyle's dog started barking and Dorit got visibly like uncomfortable. Like she was very shaken. And Kyle was like, girl, they always bark. Calm down. Like everything's okay. And then when she did that, Kyle got scared. And I was like, Kyle, this is not your moment. This is Dorit's moment. So Dorit started saying she didn't want to be scared anymore. So then Garcelle shows up and they embrace. They hug each other really tightly. Garcelle even brung her something because I would be Garcelle. She was like, I don't know what to do in this situation. But Garcelle likes to use crystals and sage. So she brung her like a protection crystal and she brung sage because she was like, you know, that would make me feel better. So then I was annoyed with Erica because Erica was very aggressive in that moment with Garcelle, where Garcelle, she was like, what happened? And Erica's like, they put a gun to her head, Garcelle. And it was very like accusatory. Like Garcelle knew the people that robbed Dorit. She was like, they put a gun to her head, Garcelle. Like it was like in that vein of like, she was acting like Garcelle did something. Or she was like, duh, Garcelle, like you ain't read it. You ain't read what was going on. And I was like, Erica, calm down. Like you up here, take it down to here, ma'am. Calm down. So then, you know, she starts to talk in her confessional. Dorit starts to talk in the confessional how they took a lot of high value stuff that's irreplaceable, like bags. And I guess maybe like family heirlooms. I don't know. When she said high value, all I could think about was bags, because when they showed the video, you see them dragging the comforter, which was weird, which was like, I don't know. And then the part that was, I think the part that kind of made my like antenna go up is where she was like, she told them, please don't take my phone. Please don't take my phone. And they let her keep her phone without damaging it. I'm like, that didn't make sense to me. That didn't make sense to me. Like, they told her, like, she was like, okay, we'll let you take, like, because she basically told them, like, y'all should get out now. Y'all have taken a lot of stuff. Like y'all should get out now. So they left. She asked them not to take her phone. They told her to wait 40 seconds. And we actually got a video of them. Like, they put her phone out, but her phone was, like going off. And I don't know if maybe like, you know, her phone was associated with the alarm system, because a lot of people have it that way, and maybe her phone was like alerting the alarm system. But they put her phone down and it's flashing, and then you see the guy throw the comforter over with all the valuables and him jump over the gate to leave. So then it was weird when Kyle said PK called her. And I was like, why is PK calling her? Unless like he couldn't get in contact with Dorit, and he was like, he was distressed. So then they start to eat dinner. PK finally shows up. He calls and he was basically like, it's so many reporters and police officers, not police officers, reporters and like bloggers at the airport. Like, I'm on my way. So he gets there. They embrace. This is where I was like, my 40-60, because PK's crying face felt fake. Like, he was just like, you're okay? You're, like, he kept doing that. Oh my, like, it was just like, I don't think this is real. And y'all gonna be like, Leah, you don't think what Drew and Ralph's peanut-headed ass is going through is real? Do you believe any of this? I kind of do believe this. But I don't know. Like, I've been watching reality TV, like, since the Flavor Flav days, y'all. Like, and that was real reality. So I really don't know about this situation. But I felt like PK's face was like fake. Then I hated Garcelle's wig. Like, I hated that wig. Then it was weird when Mauricio comes down. They embrace. You got Kyle in the background, like, then Dorit hugs them and she's like kissing Mauricio's back. It was weird. It was like she was trying to do a full, it was just weird. It was weird. It was weird to me. It was just a little weird. So PK's understandably upset because he was like, I wasn't there to protect my family. Lisa asked, like, she was like, can I ask a question? She was like, and this, I felt like Lisa was being genuine. I really felt like Lisa was being genuine because Lisa was like, as much as she loved Harry Hamlin, like, I felt like this was genuine because she legit was like, we're going to have Harry's birthday, but she was like, I don't know if this is the right time, especially based off of what you've been through. And then we find out that PK studied the religion of, I think I'm saying Sementia. I know I'm probably butchering that. But I Googled it, and it's basically a part of the Jewish faith. It focused really on Jewish philosophy. And PK was like, in my religion, we'd never cancel a happy occasion for a sad one, which that's understandable. So then this is where it switched to 50-50, where I was like, okay, something might really have happened. When Dorit was outside, her and PK were leaving, and he couldn't find his phone. And it seemed like Dorit just wanted to get out the house. And it seemed like she was having a panic attack or an anxiety attack, and I've had one, where she was like, find the phone, just find the phone. And she's sitting outside crying, and she looked like she was visibly shaking. And PK's like, okay, I'm gonna go get, like, he left it on the inside of the house. And she's like, I'm okay. And I that's when I was like, okay, maybe this really did, like, legitimately, like, happen. Like, because I don't think, like, because a lot of people feel like it's fake. And the main reason why people feel like it's fake is because Dorit was on the chopping block. And we also have had incidences, if you're an avid watcher of reality TV, where people will go as far as to fake a storyline. We've seen people fake marriages. We've seen people fake divorces. We've seen people fake break-ins. We've seen it. We've seen it on all types of reality shows. So I think that's why people don't believe it to a certain extent. And like I said, Dorit was on the chopping block of possibly getting kicked off this coming season. So I don't know, but in that moment where she was sitting on the bench in front of Kyle's house, I felt like maybe it really did happen. But yeah, y'all, that was the whole episode. So I'm actually excited to see where they're going to go this episode. We get introduced to the newest housewife, Dana or Diana, or however you say her name, next episode, I think at Lisa Rinna's, at Harry Hamlin's birthday. But yeah, let me know your thoughts below. Like, are y'all excited for this season? Do you really think that what happened to Dorit really happened? Or are you suspicious of some things? But yeah, be respectful. Remember to be bravely authentic. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.